What's up, guys? I'm out for one of my few walks this year. I haven't been out too much in the last month and a half. For those very few of you who interact on my social networks, and for those very few of you who've inquired, first of all, thank you for asking how I'm doing. And quick update, I've been very ill. And for those of you who haven't tuned into any of my videos, a quick mouthful. I was born with hereditary hemochromatosis. So the skinny is, imagine if you had a gallon of iron injected in your body right now, how you would feel. It'd knock you on your ass and your saliva would taste like aluminum foil. And it would cause cirrhosis in your organs. And I'm out on the Harmon farm as usual, across the street from my place on the Gettysburg battlefield. And I like it here very much. It's awesome. And last year I was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis about 5 years ago, but I blew it off. I was really healthy. I thought it was a misdiagnosis, but I was re-diagnosed with multiple sclerosis about a year ago. And if you don't know what that is, that means my immune system is attacking and deteriorating the myelin coating on the nerves of my brain, which means I'm losing the sight in one eye and my right leg feels like a dead piece of meat. And most of the time I'm fairly exhausted. I was also diagnosed by 2 federally appointed surgeons from the Department of Social Security with narcolepsy. So earlier today I passed out 3 times, and that's just the way it is. And we adapt and we overcome, and if you're someone like me, you know what it's like to simply force yourself for the benefit of your own health and well-being and positive mental state to get out here, which is awesome. And again, if you've ever tuned into these videos of mine, this path that I'm walking on years ago was a golf cart path. This used to be a golf course. It's now part of the Gettysburg National Military Park, and 160 years ago it was the Harmon farm. And my distant cousins lived here. And Willoughby Run is right down there in that tree bed. So the past month and a half has hit me hard again. This is kind of an update. I haven't had the focus or the energy to sit on social networks on the internet, but several people have called and texted and stopped by, and I love you guys to death for it. Thanks so much for being my friends. You've often heard me say your true friends in life are people who want to see you happy, healthy, and successful in all that you aspire to achieve, and are instrumental to those ends. And so thank you for being those people in my life, and this video is for you. So, hereditary hemochromatosis is toxic iron overload disease, and it was caused by my Scandinavian ancestors eating high iron whitefish, codfish, herring out of the North Sea, the Straits of Denmark, and the Gulf of Finland for thousands of years, and it causes genetic defect. To get the hereditary hemochromatosis that I have, you have to inherit 1 gene from each parent. And my bloodline is incredibly linear. Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, Germanic. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Multiple sclerosis. Doctors are still learning a great deal about multiple sclerosis. There's a lot that we don't know about it. Several people hopefully watching this video are new friends of mine on the internet who are also suffering from multiple sclerosis, and most of you have it a lot worse than me, which you have my admiration for continuing to cope with what you deal with on a daily basis. And in these videos, I'll share a secret with you. 50% of the time, when I edit these videos, when I get home, I lose my train of thought. And that's simply because of multiple sclerosis. In the past couple of weeks, I go into the kitchen 3 times, and I forgot why I went into the kitchen. I go into the bathroom to wash my face, and I forgot why I went into the bathroom. I go into the bedroom to change my socks into thicker socks, and I forget why I went into the bedroom. I get dressed up to go outside, to head to the laundry room to do my laundry, and I forget why I got suited up in the first place. I have forgotten people's names several times, and so I'm slowly but surely losing my memory, and that's part of multiple sclerosis. And when the Norns sew that thread into your tapestry and your fate, what do you do with it? I look at it as a joke, playing a joke on me. You don't hear me crying, whining. This isn't a pity party for Daryl at all. In the first place, I'm letting you know what's going on with me and how I deal with it, how I cope. And it starts with perception. Perception sometimes, oftentimes, is everything. And how you perceive your world and the world around you has everything to do with how you will engage it, your life, and its changes, its hurdles, and what the resulting outcome will be. I hope that made some sense. My point is I'm not someone to curl up and die. I forced myself to get out here right now, and I'm completely exhausted. Today I got a lot done. I cleaned my bathroom, did my dishes, started cleaning. I cleaned my kitchen, did some laundry yesterday. And for anybody with multiple sclerosis, regardless of what level, that's a great deal to accomplish. In any event, pardon my GoPro, I forgot my attachment. But one of those moments where I lose my train of thought. In any event, I don't mind losing my train of thought when this is what I'm looking at. And so where I'm at, back during the Battle of Gettysburg, this would have been the 26th North Carolina's advance, right down there on the other side of Willoughby Run where the tree bed is down in the creek. Indiana forces would have been there. The light at the seminary in the distance, the 142nd Pennsylvania, would have been there. And behind me, the 26th North Carolina and Archer's troops would have been headed into town. And so thousands of men were fighting here and the ground in which I walk. What I was getting at is, and you've heard me say it often and you always will as long as I live, adapt and overcome. I cannot overcome my illnesses. One of them I've dealt with successfully for many years due to a very, very strict diet, which most people are unaware of. I've always been unaware that I eat a very strict diet. I eat a no iron diet. a lot of things I omit from my diet, and that's helped keep me healthy for many years, until multiple sclerosis came along and knocked me on my ass. Again, I also deal with narcolepsy, and one of the, believe it or not, this is going to sound like the strangest thing in the world, but please look it up on Mayo Clinic if ever you don't believe me. One of the things that comes along with narcolepsy is insomnia, and you'd think that those two things would cancel each other out, but I guess it just doesn't work that way. So some weeks I'll have insomnia, some days I'll have narcolepsy. I will go through weeks where I will lose all track of time. I will lose track of what day it is, what week it is, because my sleeping patterns are so incredibly erratic. It would drive a normal person insane, but for those of us that are insane, it's just another day. But wish you were here. The video's probably getting dark. I think it's about 6 o'clock here on the East Coast, and I wish you were here because it's beautiful. It's a very, very, very beautiful day, a very beautiful time, a very beautiful temperature and place to take a walk. And yesterday I got out on the battlefield, had to take a friend of mine to have a medical procedure done, so I had his car. And as most of you don't know, that I currently do not drive. So frankly, I was driving illegally. And I've always said I'll never be 100% legal in one regard or another. But so I was able to get out real early on the battlefield, and the mist was thick, and I'll be posting some photos and some video that I took out on the battlefield. I saw some huge birds of prey. It was amazing. It was a gorgeous day. One thing that's been on my mind is, for those of you who are my patrons, I haven't sent anything out this year, and I will soon. And several of you have contacted me personally. I know every one of you personally. All of you are my friends. And it was very nice of you to say that the reason you became my patrons is not because you expect something back, or that, you know, you want photography in return. It's because you want to help me out. And if you know me personally and you've known me lately, I hope that you found that I'm an incredibly transparent person. I'm the most transparent person I've ever known. I think transparency is the key to honesty and would solve a lot of problems in relationships and in the world. And so frankly, I'm living on $1,000 a month now that I am unable to work. I am on Social Security disability as of last March, and so that's a far cry from making $1,000 a week. And my patrons are essentially filling my fridge. So if my rent's $800 a month, I'm bringing in $1,000 a month. What other bills do you pay? Do the math. My point is I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that I've been eating normally since October. I've had normal food. I can go home tonight and have some soup. I can have some tortellini and sauce. You know, I have milk. I have English muffins. It's been really tough. I literally starved for a year. That was not an exaggeration. I wasn't bullshitting you at all. I ate beans and rice and ramen noodles for a year. Because sincerely, honestly, one jackass put me in debt. Broke his word and lied to my face, and that snowballed and put me in the situation that I was in. And that's a tale for another time. But this is awesome. We have had the snow. We had about 3 feet of snow, and it's all melting. And so I'm wearing my mud boots, and it's awesome. Running right across the walkway here. It's beautiful. It's awesome. For my friends who've come to visit, to check up on me, when you see that I'm not posting and you realize that I'm ill again, more sick than usual, thanks for picking up the phone, and thanks for stopping by and dragging me out of the house. I appreciate it. And so, damn, lots of geese. Awesome. Did you know I went to the store the other day and I looked at a goose and they wanted $80 for a goose at the store? And I'm like, you got to be shitting me, man. I can buy a crossbow for that and get all the geese I want. But in any event, like I said when I started out, for several of you that don't live nearby, who have inquired, sent me a text, sent me messages, asking how I'm doing, this video's for you. And just wanted to touch base with my friends who give a shit and let you know how I'm doing. And I haven't, honestly, I really haven't been doing well. I've barely left the house this year. I'm not living in most people's shoes at all. I'm lucky if I get out of the house for a walk once a week. And it sucks because I look out the window every day and I wish I was out in the mountains camping and shooting photos and, living the life that I want to live. And I physically can't do it. I feel like I get up whenever it is I wake up. I don't really know when that is I'm going to wake up. The last time I woke up was 3:30 this afternoon. I was up real early at 4 a.m. Fell asleep 3 times sometime today. I lay down and nod out like a dope fiend. And no, I'm not doing dope. Haven't done drugs in years and decades. But that happens when you become a parent. You become a normal person for the most part. But my spirits, I'm doing okay. I'm not somebody who gets depressed. Believe it or not, with everything I'm dealing with, I'm not somebody who gets depressed. And I think, and I've been thinking this through, I think one of those reasons is that I've lived a very fulfilling life. I've lived a very full life. I've lived a very good life. I've done a lot of shit that most people will never do. I've been a lot of really awesome places. I've done a lot of really great things. I've accomplished my goals in life. I've gotten to the top of my career. I've done things in my career that no other human being in 100 years has ever done. Installed the landscapes for Hershey Corporation's 100th anniversary. I've grown the grass on the White House lawn for the Easter egg roll. I've met the president. I was in charge of turf and soil science and horticultural science for Arlington National Cemetery. I put the #1 lawn and landscape company in the nation on the map in one lifetime. And that's, for me, those are my goals, and I accomplished those goals. Most importantly, I hope I've been a good father. My daughter will never drink. She'll never do drugs. She's not one of those kids. And she's a reader, and she creates costumes, and so I'm glad that transpired in my life. So if I go to sleep tonight and don't wake up, which is likely the way I will go, my heart will give out in my bed, which sucks because I would rather die with my boots on out in the mountains. I go to my grave knowing that I've lived a very, very full life. I've lived a very fulfilling life. I've done a lot of stuff. There's still a few things I'd like to do. Hopefully I will be able to do those things. Those are my goals. They are not my dreams. I don't hope to do them. I'm going to continue to try to achieve those things. And I'll do my best at getting on my feet this year and continuing to get on my feet next year And if so, if I must, I will if I fall down again, end up in the hospital again, I will pick myself up and I will continue to try to achieve those goals of hiking the Kungsladen, hiking the Thorsmjork, hiking the East Coast Trail in Newfoundland. Those are three things that I want to do. My most important goal that I want to achieve, and it's probably way too dark out here, so I'm going to cut this off, but is to see that my daughter is happy and moving forward in her life happily and settled and doing what it is she wants to do in her life before I take a walk on the Rainbow Bridge and move on to the next life. And so, in any event, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're one of the dozen people who I'm acquainted with or good friends with that actually watches these videos, thank you for taking a minute and hearing what I have to say. I appreciate it. And I didn't really space out, but maybe once that whole time. But if you're one of those people who stood up and had my back and kicked down even $1 on my Patreon, which has put food in my fridge so that I can eat dinner tonight, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And my door is always open, and I would love to see every one of you. I've got plenty of tea. And for the rest of you, best of luck to you. The 300 of you that I never hear from. Strangest thing. But as your friend, always wishing you happiness, good health, and success in all that you achieve to aspire. You aspire to achieve in your lives. This day and the next, and every day afterward, from me to you. And so, over and out. You guys have a good weekend. Keep smiling. Keep your chins up. And never give up. Never curl up. Always stand up. Always put your first foot forward. And adapt to whatever you're facing. And it's always up to you to have a smile on your face or not. So please do. And hope to hear from you soon. Over and out. Have a good night.